The story begins in a dark, tense atmosphere. We see an old house where a woman is screaming in pain. She is in labor. After a while, she gives birth to a baby. But suddenly, someone forcefully takes the baby away from her. The woman cries out in desperation, begging, "You promised me you'd let me keep him." At that exact moment, we hear a gunshot echo through the house, and everything goes silent. This terrifying opening leaves us with many questions, hinting at a dark secret that will slowly unfold later in the story. The scene then jumps forward 40 years. We meet a young couple, Sarah and Alex, along with their infant son, Liam. Tired of their busy city life and heavy expenses, they have come to look at a farmhouse in the countryside, hoping to start fresh. Strangely enough, this is the same house we saw at the beginning. Alex immediately falls in love with the house. It looks spacious and beautiful, and he is excited to imagine their new life here. But Sarah feels uneasy. She wonders why such a big and beautiful house is being sold for such a low price. To her surprise, the real estate agent, Cindy, explains that no one has wanted to buy this house for the past 40 years because of a shocking tragedy. Cindy reveals that many years ago, a young woman named Anna killed her father and her own baby before taking her own life. Since then, anyone who learned this horrifying history refused to live there. No one wants to stay in a house with such a dark past. Seeing Sarah's worried face, Cindy assumes they will also change their minds. But Sarah calmly replies that she isn't concerned about what happened decades ago. She believes in moving forward and focusing on the future. Hearing this, Alex feels relieved and happy. Soon after, they complete the paperwork and officially make the house theirs. Excited, they start decorating and setting up their new home. While exploring, Sarah notices a room that won't open. She asks Alex to help, and after struggling, they finally manage to open the door. Inside, they discover it's a boy's room, which confuses them because they were told only a daughter lived here before. At this moment, an unfamiliar man suddenly appears inside the house. His name is Chris, and he claims to be their neighbor. He brings them a gift to welcome them. Although his visit feels friendly at first, he seems to stare at Sarah in an unsettling way. His sudden entry without permission makes Sarah and Alex feel awkward and uncomfortable. After spending a little time talking, Chris finally leaves, but the couple is left with a strange feeling about him. That night, exhausted from moving and arranging the house, Sarah and Alex decide to keep Liam in their room instead of putting him in his own room on his first night. Sarah agrees, and they all try to sleep. In the middle of the night, Sarah wakes up to the sound of children's voices coming from behind a heavy wardrobe. Curious and slightly scared, she tries to move the wardrobe, but finds it too heavy to shift alone. Unable to go back to sleep, she starts reading the police report that Cindy had given her earlier, which details the tragic past of the house. In those reports, she finds old crime scene photos of Anna and her father. Strangely, Sarah notices that she resembles Anna in some ways. This discovery disturbs her deeply, but she doesn't fully understand what it means yet. The next morning, Alex has to go out to find work since he's a veterinarian and hopes to get a job caring for local animals. Before leaving, Sarah tells him about the door behind the wardrobe. Alex mentions they would need a few people to move it because it's too heavy. Sarah decides to prepare Liam's room properly so he can sleep there alone at night in the future. With Alex gone, Sarah focuses on decorating Liam's room. She notices all the windows are boarded up with nails. She tries to remove them but can't. While searching, she finds an old ribbon, probably belonging to Anna, and puts it in her hair without realizing its significance. Now we see that Sarah spends almost her entire day trying to calm Liam, but no matter what she does, he keeps crying nonstop. Her biggest struggle is trying to breastfeed him. Every time she tries, Liam refuses and cries even harder. Sarah can't understand why her baby rejects her like this. She feels deeply frustrated and starts to lose hope. But it isn't just Liam causing her distress. Sarah is suffering from postpartum depression, a condition many new mothers face after giving birth. During this period, mothers often struggle to bond with their babies, have trouble sleeping or eating, and feel disconnected. Sarah experiences the same feelings. She can't sleep properly, has no appetite, and feels no deep love for Liam. Sometimes she even feels like he isn't really her child. To help herself stay grounded, Sarah wears a rubber band on her wrist. Whenever she feels overwhelmed, she snaps the band to remind herself that it's just her mind playing tricks, that it's the depression talking, not reality. One night, while trying to soothe Liam, Sarah suddenly sees a shadow outside the window that looks like a woman. Anna. Shocked and terrified, she accidentally drops Liam, but luckily manages to catch him in time before he gets hurt. The next day, Sarah hears children's voices coming from behind the wardrobe again. This time, when she peeks underneath, a swarm of flies suddenly attacks her. She screams in fear, but just as suddenly, the flies disappear, leaving her shaken and confused. Later, Chris arrives at the house. Sarah had called him to help with some repairs. Feeling lost and desperate, she tries to ask Chris about the house's dark past and the strange things happening to her. But Chris avoids answering her questions and quietly leaves, adding to her growing anxiety and fear. While cleaning the house one day, Sarah finds a dress that once belonged to Anna. Strangely, she feels drawn to it and starts becoming more interested in Anna's old belongings. Another day, while spending time with Liam, Sarah hears a strange noise from an upstairs room. Curious and cautious, she goes to check but finds no one there. Suddenly, she feels a presence behind her and turns to see Robert, Anna's father, moving toward her. Before she can react, two hands reach out from under the bed and pull her down. When she looks up again, Robert has vanished. Terrified, Sarah runs downstairs after hearing Liam crying. She finds him dangerously close to a fire. If she had arrived any later, he could have been seriously hurt. In the following days, Sarah notices that things around the house start disappearing, like their wedding photo and some of Liam's favorite toys, which he needs to calm down. Alex also becomes worried and starts thinking that Sarah might be losing control because of her depression. But due to his busy work schedule, he isn't able to give his family enough attention, even though he's finally found a job. One day, while checking a wardrobe, Sarah discovers an old axe, which most likely belonged to Robert. This discovery terrifies her even more. She searches through the police reports again, but finds no mention of an axe. Desperate for answers, Sarah asks Chris about it. Finally, Chris opens up and shares a horrifying truth. The girl in the photo, Anna, was not Robert's wife, but his daughter. Robert's wife had died while giving birth to their son, Andrew. After her death, Robert lost his mind and began abusing Anna. She gave birth to 3 children as a result. Tragically, Robert killed Anna's first 2 babies. Eventually, after years of torment, Anna, completely broken and desperate, killed Robert and then took her own life. Sarah is shocked and refuses to believe that a father could do something so monstrous to his own daughter. She then asks Chris what happened to Andrew, since there was no information about him in the reports. But instead of answering, Chris quietly leaves, leaving Sarah even more confused and terrified. Sarah becomes desperate to uncover the truth, so she goes to meet Cindy, the real estate agent who sold them the house. Cindy finally reveals the shocking secret. Chris is actually Andrew, Robert's son. he changed his name and returned to town years later. This means Anna was Andrew's sister and Robert was their father. After the house was left empty, Chris used to sneak in every night. No one in town stopped him because they all knew he had witnessed horrible things as a child. Robert not only abused Anna, but also abused Chris, leaving deep scars on him. This also explains why Chris had suddenly entered the house when Sarah and Alex first arrived. He felt an unexplainable connection to it. Horrified by this revelation, Sarah returns home feeling disturbed and broken. One day, while sitting on the sofa, she suddenly smells something awful. She moves the cushions and finds piles of filthy diapers. But when she looks again, they've mysteriously vanished. This was a haunting reminder of the children Robert had killed, Anna's babies. Later that night, when Sarah tries to feed Liam, she is shocked to find worms crawling in the milk. Horrified, she pours it down the sink. By now, tension between Sarah and Alex has grown. Alex knows about Sarah's depression and realizes that leaving the city to live in this isolated house may have made her condition worse. Sarah becomes even more upset when she discovers that someone has broken her cherished music box. She can't understand what is happening around her or why she feels so helpless. One night, while trying to calm Liam, Sarah suddenly sees Robert and Anna together in a strange, eerie posture in the other room. Without thinking, she leaves Liam and walks toward them. Meanwhile, Liam nearly falls down the stairs, but Alex arrives just in time to save him. He quickly locks the door to keep Sarah out, afraid of what she might do next. Ever since they moved into the house, Sarah has been feeling haunted and disconnected from reality. Her mind keeps pulling her deeper into fear and confusion, blurring the line between what is real and what is in her head. By this point, Alex also becomes deeply worried. He sees Sarah's condition getting worse each day and starts to believe that she is intentionally neglecting Liam. When he finds out she threw away the milk, he thinks she is trying to keep Liam hungry. In frustration, Sarah angrily shows Alex a torn photo of herself and demands to know if he was the one who broke her music box. Alex is completely confused and doesn't understand what's happening to her. Through their argument, we start to realize that Sarah may have had a difficult childhood filled with trauma, which is now resurfacing and worsening her depression. Feeling helpless, Alex decides to call her psychiatrist, hoping she will agree to resume treatment. However, Sarah refuses. When the doctor arrives, she finally opens up. Through tears, Sarah admits that she wants to love Liam, but feels no true motherly connection to him. Sometimes, she even feels like he isn't her child at all. She just wants to accept him and truly feel like his mother. The doctor tries to comfort her, explaining that these feelings aren't real, but rather a result of her severe postpartum depression. He urges her to start taking her medication again, which she had stopped because of breastfeeding. But Sarah insists that she is fine now and doesn't need any pills. She says she is ready to love Liam and wants to fully accept him as her own. After the doctor leaves, Chris comes to the house. Sarah starts talking to him about his childhood, which makes Chris emotional. He reveals that he once wanted to buy the house himself, but didn't have enough money. He also confesses that he deeply loved his sister Anna and wishes he could have protected her. Sadly, he was too young and powerless to stop their father's abuse. Chris reveals to Sarah that Anna actually had 3 children, but the official reports only mention 1. When Sarah asks what happened to the other 2, Chris avoids giving her a clear answer and stays silent. Sarah then realizes that the children's voices she has been hearing behind the wardrobe must be those missing children. She tells Chris about this, but he warns her not to dig any deeper, insisting it's better for everyone if some truths remain hidden. At this point, Sarah becomes convinced that she isn't mentally ill. Instead, she believes all the strange things happening are because of the house itself. The missing objects, the broken music box, the haunting visions. She now thinks they are all real and connected to the house's dark history. Determined to act normal, she pretends to take her medication in front of Alex, but secretly throws it away every night. One evening, Alex has to leave the house for an urgent task. He is hesitant to leave Sarah alone with Liam, but she reassures him that she's been taking her medicine, and he shouldn't worry. After Alex leaves, Sarah dozes off while sitting with Liam in the bathtub. Suddenly, she wakes to Liam's cries, only to be attacked by Robert, who tries to drown her in the tub. Sarah fights back and barely manages to escape. Meanwhile, Liam also nearly drowns, but Sarah quickly grabs him just in time. Panicking, she runs upstairs with Liam and hears Anna screaming from another room. She then sees Robert moving toward their room. In fear, she locks the door, and after a tense silence, everything goes quiet. Hearing Alex's voice calling from downstairs, Sarah rushes to check, hoping for help, unaware of what might still be waiting for her. But when Sarah runs downstairs, she finds no one. She rushes back to Liam's room, only to discover that he's missing from his bed. Then she notices that the hidden door behind the wardrobe is now open, and she hears Liam crying from inside. Sarah enters the dark, filthy room and finds all the missing items that had disappeared from the house. There, she also sees two ghostly children holding Liam. These were Anna's lost children. Desperate, Sarah begs them to give Liam back, but the boys refuse, saying that she doesn't care for him properly and keeps hurting him. They have seen it all. They insist that Liam belongs with them now. Crying, Sarah pleads, insisting that Liam is her son and she wants him back. At that moment, one of the boys picks up an axe and moves to attack her. In that intense moment, Sarah finally feels a powerful, undeniable bond with Liam. She realizes he is truly a part of her, her son, and that she loves him deeply, something she had struggled to feel before. Suddenly, the boys vanish. They were never really there. They were only a part of Sarah's imagination, a mix of the house's tragic past and her own mental struggles. In reality, Anna's children had died long ago at Robert's hands. Sarah's mind created these visions as a way to process her trauma and fears. She had hidden the missing objects in the attic herself, finding a way through the secret passage behind the wardrobe. The film suggests that there were no real ghosts. Everything was in Sarah's mind. But when she almost lost Liam, she finally accepted him fully and overcame her depression. The next morning, Sarah assures Alex that she is finally okay. Seeing her calm and happy gives Alex relief too. 3 years later, we see the family living peacefully. Liam is now a little older and happily runs into the room, and we learn that Sarah is pregnant again. While they all seem happy, a hint of worry still lingers on Sarah's face. Perhaps a fear that her new child might bring back old struggles. And with this, the film comes to an end.